What's up, guys? Back in Music with the Fosters, Season 3, Episode 13, If and When. Okay, so this episode starts off with Sharon and Will talking about how their potatoes are bad, and he's like, hey, we can cut around it, and yeah. So, yeah. So Sharon and Lena are fighting over the mastectomy and the lumpectomy and stuff. It's like, oh, please stop talking about it. Sharon, please go on your trip. And Sharon's just like, what? I'll just go. Nah. And she's like, and Brandon's like, Mike's here. And she's like, hi, Mike. And goodbye, Brandon. And yeah. And yeah. So Callie's still, so AJ, so Steph is, so Steph is is talking to Mike, and is like, what Callie gets trying to touch with AJ, and she's like, if Callie gets in touch with AJ, she'll let her know. So, but Callie is still trying to get in touch with AJ. So yeah, so then we see Matt performing a song, and Brandon's like, hey, Matt, you be Romeo, and he's like, but I'm right, and he's like, you be Romeo, but I'm directing. He's like, yeah, but now we need since we found our Romeo, all we need to find is our Juliet. And he's like, what, Talia? And he's like, no, Talia doesn't like him. And he's like, um, well, bro, you're gonna have to suck it up. So Talia, finally returning after season 1, episode 20, returns and is like, hey, Brandon, Matt told me about Matt told me about how you want to find Juliet, and she's like, I'll be your Juliet, but I know she's not his Juliet, but she's like, you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, but Brandon lies saying, hey, we got open auditions, and Matt basically confronts Brandon saying, open auditions, bro? Are you serious? And he's like, and he's like, if I tell her that we're not doing an open audition, she'll know that I lied to her. And he's like, yeah, do you really want, do you really want some, do you really want some talent, America's Got Talent wannabe to be to be Juliet, to audition everyone? And he's like, if Talia is the best Juliet, you're gonna suck it up, bro. So Brandon's like, we're looking for Juliet, Mario, and Mario's like, I don't want to be in your dumb musical. When I'll be class president, he's just like cocky, and he's like not cocky, confident. And she's like, she's doing a great job, and he's like, thank you, Lena. To the mom about gonna say Lena. So anyway, so Jesus calls Todd. I mean not Jesus. Callie calls AJ, and AJ's like, and learns that he's not in San Diego because she attempted to go to a coffee house looking for AJ, but instead she found Raphael in his final appearance of the entire series. Which, yeah, like Raphael starts saying, "Hey, great about foster hound," and hey, you got adopted. Congratulations. Yeah. Anyway, after that, Mariana is like, hey, he's using Nick. Mariana's Anne's coming over with a baby, and he's like, "Can you believe that?" And she's like, "Why are you looking at me like that?" And and then Nick's like, "Who's Anna and baby? Is she some girl he slept with?" And he's like, no, she's she's her birth mom." And he's like, "And you're both all adopted?" He's like, "Except for Brandon, one of his moms had him." And he's like, "Do you have a dad?" And he's like, "We all have dads. Him and Mariana just don't. Him and Mariana. I don't know if I should call her Mariana or Mariana, because they call her Mariana this season, but I like calling her Mariana because like him and Mariana don't know this. So yeah, so yeah, him and Mariana don't know this. And he's like, "What's your dad?" Pitbull. And he's like, I get like my dad Pitbull. He's like, what if it's Mario Lopez? And he's like, serious, bro? Don't you want to know who he is? yeah, so he's asked. So yeah, so Marina, so Steph fills in Anna about about Lexi, and she's like, didn't they go to Honduras? And she's like, they got the visa, so they're back. She's like, oh, that's fine. And John's like, oh, wasn't Lexi your girlfriend? She's like, yeah. She's like, aren't you two gonna get back together? And he's like, probably not. Marina was like, probably not. And she's like, okay, not. She's like, good answer. Mariana, don't be annoying like season 2. We enjoy your presence. Don't go being annoying and thinking you enjoy Jesus' love life. Anyway, yeah. So yeah. So anyway, So he's talking. And Mariana's like, I just gotta get away from this. So she goes, and Mariana's like, and 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 Emma and he's just like, hey, he was talking about by Nick about her. He was like, and he talked about his birthday, and he actually doesn't know who his birthday is. And she's like, his name is Gabriel or Gabe. I'm gonna call him Gabe. His name is Gabe, and she knew him for like they went to a party, and it was like a one night stand. But Adriana, being smart, is like, hey Jesus, I don't her dad's a contractor, right? And she was talking to his boss about how hiring Gabe for Wednesday's construction job. And she's like, the way he was talking, it was kind of like, wasn't just a one night stand. It seemed like he was her boyfriend. So Jesus and Nick go and they said like any of these guys could be your dad. Jesus and Jesus like, no, let's just go. So he talks to Will. He just talks to Will, and yeah, I just love Will and Sharon's relationship. So yeah, so Adriana was like, Anna and Mike, you two should be good together. And he's like, and she's like, Mike, you should date Anna. You two would be so cute together. And he's like, we're just friends. And she's like, I'll just leave you two friends to talk. I love Adriana, and she's like, I think Steph and him believe that Ty was the one that hit you and the twins. And Brandon just walks through, hearing this, and then Drew just comes from afar saying, "Grandma's leaving." And it's just like off screen. He's just like, "Grandma's leaving," from afar where we can't see her. So yeah, so she says goodbye to all of them except for Steph, but the RV won't work. So Steph is like, Steph thinks it's Steph thinks Steph thinks it's Sharon. She's like, and Sharon's like, it's not me. Why do I want to stay? Why do I want to stay in a place where she feels unwelcomed? So yeah, so Callie calls AJ and she's like. Right, Callie calls AJ and he's like, hey, and she's like, how are you on Foster Pound? And he's like, I'm not on Foster Pound. She's like, we've been IMing. And yeah, I guess that's what we call texting, IMing. And and Callie's like, and he's like, Callie, I don't know who you're talking to, but it's not him, and he's gotta go. Take care, Callie. So yeah. And Callie's like, the person on Foster Pound isn't AJ. And mine, I was like, you got catfished? So yeah, so she tells Steph that if AJ stays with his brother, he'll be in more trouble. So Mike and Steph are having a discussion about AJ and and he's like, what about? And Mike's like, what about AJ's future? And what about all the other stuff Brandon did? And Steph snaps back at Mike saying, how dare you say about the stuff that Brandon connected stuff that Brandon did to the person that to the brother of the person that almost killed their children. So she's like, and Lena's like, Mike has a point, Steph. What could this do to AJ's future? And Lena's like, and Steph's like, yeah, I know you've taken your opinion to heart and you say lately, but this is not up for discussion. And Mike, you don't have to be there, but this won't fall on you. So Steph goes out there, and AJ and Brandon tells Callie that Ty was the one that hit the twin, so she calls Ty, thinking it's AJ. So Ty, so she's like AJ and Ty's like, we you were talking to Callie, we gotta go. And he's like, I can't do it, Ty. I can't run anymore. And then the police come, and Steph's like, she's like, she's like, they were arresting your brother because he was injured Mario. Jesus, were they even injured? Like, we never saw it, but were they injured? Because she said when they injured Mario and Jesus, but were they injured at all? Because I guess when the season premiered, it was 3 or 4 weeks after the accident. But were they injured? I don't know. We'll just have to take the shows. So yeah, so she arrests him and she's like, AJ, I know you knew nothing about that, but we're gonna take you in for running away. But here's the problem with that. Didn't Steph figure that out? She's like, later to, she was like, Mike, what if AJ doesn't know what Ty did? And she's like, she's like, Mike, AJ ran away. Wouldn't he run away after his grandma's funeral? If he knew, and he ran away. But she's like, you knew nothing about that, but we have to take you in for running away. Like, you figured out stuff. You figured that he ran away. That he ran away because he knew. But yeah, so we see in slow motion, Mike looks at AJ looks at Mike looks at Steph, and it's just, yeah. So Callie's like, why didn't you tell her that Ty was involved in the accident? He's like, he couldn't. And she's like, what's gonna happen to AJ? And she's like, she doesn't know. And she's like, he's gonna go back to juvie. And she's like, yeah. So Callie's mad, and she's like, and Leah confronts Steph, saying, what do you mean she hasn't taken her opinion to heart lately? And she's like, is it about the mastectomy? Yeah, and she reveals that she does that. So yeah, so she has a chance to either get it or not get cancer. So she goes out and gets confronted by her mom, and she's like, stay. So Will reveals that the RV was never broken down, and yeah, and she's like, she go on the trip, Will. She wants to stay with Steph, and yeah, and so she's like, yeah. So anyway, and she's like, do you see someone older than her? And he's like, in her, do you see someone older than him? And he's like, he sees someone 10 years younger than him. And that's basically how the episode ends. And yeah, so also, he's just now working with Gabe, saying that he was 18. So he's working with Gabe now. But that wraps up his episode. I thought the episode was an interesting one. Jude was in this episode. He and Jack got into a fight where he thought that Jack was weird for sleeping in his bed, saying that he couldn't come back. But Jack does come back, and he's like, hey, let's play. Jude says that he has no home. Jack says he has no home, and Jude says, hey, he used to think that, but look where he is now. Let's go play Clash of Clans. Yeah. Clash of Clans was popular in 2016. But now it's 2021. So yeah. I don't know if Clash of Clans is popular now, but it was popular 5 years ago. So anyway, I enjoyed this episode. And episode 4 and episode 16 will be a really highly serious issue topic. Which, when we get to that episode, I will put a disclaimer warning if you want to watch episode 16, because it kind of talks of suicide in that episode. So, I don't know if you guys might want to watch that one, because in that episode kind of talks about suicide, and it even gives, like, this episode, this episode storyline has been talked about suicide. So episode 16, but we only have 2 more episodes to get that one. But that episode's a really big topic, and I will get to that one. But yeah, this episode's still good. But we have to get episode 16, and it's gonna be a high topic. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe. If you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next. The Fosters.